All right, a federal judge says Elon Musk and Doge may not have the legal authority to make sweeping cuts at USAID. In a ruling last night, the judge said the action likely violated the Constitution in multiple ways and that these actions harm not only plaintiffs but also the public by closing an agency created by Congress. This decision was in response to a lawsuit filed by fired USAID employees. Now, the ruling came just hours after Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice John Roberts, publicly rebuked the president in a statement. Roberts responded to the president's call to impeach the judge who tried to block the deportation of a suspected Venezuelan gang to El Salvador. Roberts said impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreeing with a judicial decision. But even after that rare public rebuke, President Trump again criticized judges during an interview with Fox News yesterday. Listen.
We have bad judges. We have very bad judges, and these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge. The judge that
CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins me now in Studio 55. Hi, good to see you.
Good morning, Vlad.
So, when the president says we have bad judges, it sounds like to a lot of people that judges are bad if they disagree with him or if they rule in a way that is disfavorable to him. And what the Chief Justice is saying, and he's done this too for Democrats and others who have crossed the line when it comes to attacking the judiciary, is that there is a process. If you disagree with a judicial ruling, there's an appellate way to go about this, as opposed to saying that the judge should be impeached. How rare is it, though, for a Chief Justice to do something like this?
I mean, Roberts has made these statements on occasion, but it is rare, and I think it just shows the inflection point that we're at, that he felt the need to speak out now. Because, Vlad, we're at the point where the executive branch is starting to openly defy these judicial orders. That's why we're hearing from Justice Roberts. The reason that we have the separation of powers is that there's allowed to be conflict between the branches, but the executive branch does have to follow these orders from the judicial branch.
Yeah, and it strikes me, and I'm not one of these folks who thinks that the end of democracy is around the corner, but there is a part of me that wonders, in making this statement, the Chief Justice knows that if the President of the United States is willing to disregard a judge, any judge, that down the line he may disregard a ruling from the Supreme Court because he sees himself as the ultimate arbiter of justice in this country. Is there a fear? Are you hearing that some judges are worried about that down the line?
I mean, I think there's absolutely a fear. Trump is calling for these judges to be impeached. As you said, he is ignoring their orders. So yes, at a certain point, why won't he ignore the Supreme Court, too?
So let's talk about this ruling that was just denied again, the motion to dismiss the case against Mahmoud Khalil. And the judge ordered the case to be transferred to New Jersey. How does this sort of change the dynamic of the case?
So the government was trying to both get the case dismissed, and they really wanted it transferred to Louisiana, Vlad. That's where Mahmoud Khalil is currently being detained. It's also known to be a much more conservative judicial district. So this is a bit of a win for Mahmoud Khalil to be moved to New Jersey, although they really wanted this case to stay in New York. This is where he's from. This is where he's arrested. This is where his 8-month pregnant wife is. The judge has declined to dismiss the case, but he says under the Supreme Court, the habeas petition is supposed to be filed where the person is being detained. And technically, he was in New Jersey when that petition is filed. So he thinks that is the proper venue, legally speaking.
All right. And given that we have the rule of law in this country, it makes sense that they would keep the case in New Jersey. Katrina Kaufman, always great to have you in Studio 55. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dad.
you.